Friends, this is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators here in our beautiful Sangha. And on Wednesdays, we have been reviewing a book called Go Slowly, Breathe, and Smile. These are the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, coupled with some beautiful artwork by Rashane Ray. And we have been taking these wonderful sayings one at a time and creating a meditation around them. What I'd like to do today is bring forward a couple of things. One is what Thich Nhat Hanh's words actually are, but I'd like to also offer an opposite perspective. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'd like to honor today 9/11. It was just an unbelievably catastrophically tragic day. And so I'd like to hold the memory of all of the people who perished in New York City, in Washington, D.C., in Pennsylvania. I'd like to acknowledge all of the first responders, all of the families and friends who were deeply involved. I'd like to acknowledge the families and friends of the terrorists, actually, and I'd like to just make a moment's notice of those people who, in their terrible confusion, thought that flying a plane into a building or into the ground or into the Pentagon was going to be of service. Terrible confusion, terrible suffering. And we hold everybody in a place of reverence and peace. With that, I'd like to share with you the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, and I invite you to arrive fully to your practice. I invite you to take a gentle gaze inward. I'd like you to assume a posture in the body that feels at ease. Thich Nhat Hanh says, a smile can change the situation of the world. A smile can change the situation of the world. He also says this: smiling is a kind of mouth yoga. When we smile, it releases tension in our face. Others notice it, even strangers, and are likely to smile back. By smiling, we initiate a wonderful chain reaction, touching the joy in anyone we encounter. A smile is an ambassador of goodwill. All of this is true and not the whole truth. On a day like September 11th, there are going to be people who are not smiling. There are going to be people for whom, if they were to try to receive a smile, it might stir up defensive feelings. It might stir up reactivity. I don't want to smile. Don't make me smile. I don't feel like smiling. And you know, who could blame them? Just like me, there are times where I don't want to smile. And not only that, I don't receive the smiles of others. When people smile at me and I'm in a mood to not smile, I sometimes interpret their smile with suspicion or annoyance or irritation. That's what's real for me. I'm in a different emotional landscape that for the moment is void of smiles and joy. And what's helpful to me is to have space to be real with whatever emotionality is coming alive for me. As I was reflecting on this particular sharing, and again, I want to emphasize that while these words are true, the truth of the matter is that I have had to learn to exercise a muscle of presence when others are despairing, despondent, confused, and sad. I live in a culture and I grew up in a family where that wasn't really encouraged. We were encouraged to put on a happy face. We weren't encouraged to pretend that everything was okay, but as a society, I sort of picked up on that. To express emotions that are considered, quote, negative was not in good taste, not appropriate. And not because these feelings aren't real or valid, but because it makes people uncomfortable. So, to avoid creating discomfort in others, I learned not to be real about the full spectrum of my emotionality. I don't know about you, but I learned the phrase, oh, I'm fine, to mask and to hide how I'm really feeling. But I don't do that anymore, friends, because it isn't real, it isn't true, and people are extraordinarily resilient, even if my emotionality creates the conditions for discomfort. Sadness is uncomfortable. Anger is uncomfortable. Despair is uncomfortable. Yep, it is. And it's going to create discomfort in others. But here's the thing, people are resilient. And it is an opportunity to exercise those muscles that we have atrophied, hiding behind, I'm fine. No need to talk about it. No need to acknowledge this. What I'm getting at is something Thich Nhat Hanh was amazing at, and that is the capacity to be present to people as they are. We smile at people. We temper that smile when people are not in the mood, don't have the capacity for it. And then we simply acknowledge, how can I be present to you? What would serve you well? And it begins by practicing ourselves. So for me, when people ask me, how you doing? And I'm not okay. I say things like, I'm not okay. And I'm okay. I'm not okay. Would you like to hear about it? I'm not okay. And you know, I don't want to talk about it right now. And I think I'd prefer to smile. Tell me a joke. How you doing, Julia? Right now I'm working with a little sadness, if I'm honest. And I'm going to hold those feelings pretty close. So that's what's real for me. What's real for you? Being real and true is also an ambassador of goodwill. And any time we can be ambassadors of goodwill is a time to smile. Even if we can't put that smile on our face, maybe the smile within the heart mind is enough. Maybe the smile of warmth and compassion is enough. This is an invitation to become an ambassador of goodwill, and we can only do it when we are real. Let's take some time to be quiet and allow this reflection to roll around in your own minds and hearts and see what comes alive in you. friends. There's a saying, you may be one person to the world, but to one, you may be, you may be one person to the world, but you may also be the world to one person. Said another way, to the world, you are but one person, but to one person, you are the world. Thich Nhat Hanh reminds us that a smile has the power to change a situation and affect the whole world, the world of one person, maybe even the world of you and me. I would like to add that being real and true about your own emotional landscapes, really understanding and identifying what's happening in your own heart mind, is an act of enormous kindness. And therefore, by understanding yourself at this level, you are once again bringing kindness to the world at large, and the world of one person, even if that person is you. These efforts to be kind, these efforts to be real, these efforts to change the way we are present to ourselves and one another, this is how we change the world. Thank you for your beautiful efforts to understand. Thich Nhat Hanh also said, to understand is to love. Alrighty, friends, let's go ahead and end with a dedication of merit. I would simply ask you to come back to a noble posture. Lo, could I trouble you to do me a huge favor? Would you mind panning the camera to the Buddha and up on her beautiful face? I don't know if you can really see that. Can we zoom in on it a little bit? Yay. Oh, there's our beautiful Buddha. This particular Buddha is, it's got some kind of feminine features. And so let's just take a moment to look at that beautiful, serene face, that gentle smile, the light, the golden light around this Buddha's head to illuminate and to allow the illumination of innate wisdom. Allow this Buddha, the capacity within you to awaken to the causes and conditions of your suffering. That is already alive in you. What we are doing is simply creating the conditions for Buddha nature to ripen, to flourish, to grow. Through our practices of deep understanding, reflection, stillness, quiet, we can heal and transform ourselves, and by extension, heal and transform the world. The world begins with one person, you and me. May your efforts here today be celebrated, and may you find a smile on your face, in your mind, and in your heart. Thank you for your beautiful practice today. We'll see you next time. Namaste.